Hi, Alexandra.
Hiya.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Great job, both of you. After I watched this series all the way through, I realized how tricky your roles were because there was so much going on under the surface.
Yeah. Yes, quite a lot
Yeah.
of stuff at play.
Ella, what helped you most get into the character of someone from that time period?
I think costume was a massive element. I think the costumes were really informative to how they moved. And Lou Kempton, who was our intimacy coordinator, was also I worked a
Oh,
bit
she's
with
amazing.
her with movement, and she was amazing because she not only would kind of help you with how like she might move like on the outside, but like how kind of she was working on the inside. And then I think just like the story itself and the dynamics were kind of they were so human that they could have been in any era. So that was
Mm.
all stuff that we kind of figured out together with Sam, and just loads of conversations about why they would make certain choices or what might be going on or what their beliefs are
Mm.
and that kind of thing. But yeah, such a fun era to play.
Oliver, did you have to take tennis lessons to portray a pro, or were you already familiar with the sport?
No, I was a pro. And so all of the stuff on screen is
That's why
all
he was
me.
cast.
That's why I was cast
Yeah.
solely for my tennis. No,
Yeah.
I'd never played tennis in my life and will never play tennis again because turns out I actually cannot even hit one single ball against a wall. Um, it seems like a pretty straightforward thing to do, but a lot harder than it looks.
The
So
tennis rackets though don't help.
tennis rackets are
They're
basically like
tiny
teaspoons.
little.
So yeah, so it no, I had never played tennis, will not be playing tennis again. That did tennis lessons and bless them, they were is so patient with me. And then Laura, our incredible DP, and Sam, our amazing director, that he they shot it and edited it in a way where it made it look somewhat passable, which I am forever indebted and grateful to them for. Because if you'd seen what it was like on set, it was a what you would call a catastrophic disaster.
No, not at all.
Ella, which costume did you like the best, and were they comfortable to wear?
Some of them were and some of them weren't, but it was conversations we had beforehand because it was kind of good that they were uncomfortable in certain circumstances because I guess, they look a certain way or make you move in a certain way. That's kind of good and restrictive. But my favorite costume, I think, was when we went to the hotel,
Mm.
that one. I loved that. I don't even, I don't know if it was made, but it was an all piece, and the I got to wear like a neck scarf and stuff. But I loved that one. I think I just loved that day because it was so there was like this big dance sequence in the hotel, and it was so I felt like we were in the era.
Yeah,
Wasn't that really fun that day?
those amazing
It was just
dancers they got
beautiful.
together as well. It
And that
was,
burlesque
yeah.
dancer, yeah, that was really fun.
How about you, Oliver? Because the men always seem to have comfortable clothing no matter what the time era.
Yeah, we it's incredibly unfair actually. I feel like I
It is
feel like,
incredibly unfair.
of course men didn't went with corsets like, no, we're good. Of course I did. Uh yes, that we really, really were very lucky with our costume designer, Charlotte. She's a very, very um intuitive kind of creator and works very much with and is constantly thinking of character in the way that she dresses you and there's a subtlety with it. There's not a sort of thing that she's trying to prove in any way. And we said this morning that we we don't have these are not sort of $100 million budget
Mm.
things that are being made, and so it forces people to be incredibly resourceful, and that's I think where it's so exciting to be a part of something where people are really being resourceful with what is available to them, what they can do, what they can
Mm.
create, and sort of pushing it way above,
Mm.
because I think the show as a whole is visually is and that's down to Laura and Sam, is so beautiful and expansive luxurious, and the way the costumes and the hair, and it's a real kind of amazing, like you feel quite transported watching it.
Now, you both had a day where you had a swimming scene. That might have taken more than a day to film, I don't know. But what was it like?
It was freezing cold.
So cold.
I cannot tell you how cold it
so
was.
cold.
Not only like like in the water, but outside of the water. It was, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but you can do the math. It was like 8 degrees, or no, 11 degrees outside, and then the water was,
I don't even know, but it was so freezing, and we really were so dramatic about it too. Like, I think Grace had to get in the water that day too, and they did her first, and she literally just was like, and we were like, like we were so dramatic about it.
yeah. I'm
But
not one of those like
freezing.
people. I don't love a cold plunge. Like it's just not me. Like it's really not. I'm that like guy on holiday that won't get in the sea unless it's, you know, August, like end of August, like or in the tropics. Yes, yeah, don't do well with the cold, and we got in and out a lot.
We did.
And there's a brilliant moment where like we'd be like that, fancy a swim, and off we go, and I go, yeah, definitely. And then we really reluctantly walk in the two of us.
You can see it so much. We're literally like,
you're like, hey, it's like really stiff, like really stiff,
really tense.
Like, it's not good.
Not great.
It's not good.
That's hilarious. Now, as an audience member, I'm constantly trying to figure out who the murderer is, and I'm terrible at it. But Oliver, when you first got the script, did you try to guess before you got to the end of it who the murderer was?
I knew who the murderer was.
Did you read the book?
No, I hadn't read the book. I was told in a roundabout way who the murderer was going in to the script. Well, no, I wasn't told explicitly, but I was sort of given hints to who, and so but then that was part of the kind of the fun of reading it, even in the first place, is having an idea in your head and then being kind of surprised and taken on this kind of crazy journey of where everyone goes. And I think, you know, everyone in the piece has a motive and is a suspect for a reason and has a genuine reason for wanting to do what has happened. So there's a lot of fun, you know, and we were saying this earlier that with murder mysteries, the audience, you know, the viewers, you become an active participant in the show. You are a part of the show because you're constantly guessing, and so it's a kind of very fun and satisfying experience.
Ella, I had no idea that you're Irish. How easy is it to put on an English accent? Because I think for English people, it's pretty hard to do an Irish dialect.
Yeah, we can't do it.
Yeah, Irish accents are so hard though. I think even Irish people for different regions, it's difficult. But I was terrified, like terrified. So good, oh, I hope so. Thank you. Yeah, it's difficult because it's so specific to that time as well. And I think I went on a bit of a journey with it, like you know, even finding her register and stuff like that as well. But I think it's always better when you're doing accents to put it in your own register. But I guess that's a trial and error thing. And I got the role so kind of toward, like, I didn't have a lot of time before filming, so I feel like I was even figuring it out while I was doing it. I was like, where is she actually placed? But it's fun then when you kind of get the gist of it, and then it's easy for you, and then you kind of forget it straight away. But I'm always really nervous about doing an English accent when you're surrounded by people from England, because they'll hear it and then I'll be mortified.
No, you you really were.
Oh, great. I hope so.
You really were great.
Thank you.
Oliver, what was it like working with Angelica Houston? Because she always plays such formidable characters.
Yeah, I think formidable is like an incredible kind of way to describe her. She, you know, it's so interesting with these sort of adaptations of Agatha Christie. They bring in a Hollywood icon, You know, every year there's someone who's sort of brought in, and I think there's always a you know, as an actor, you're a bit like that. Oh God, how I wonder how this is going to go. Like, I wonder what they'll be like, or I wonder. And there is I think for all of us, we all quickly kind of. There's a reason why she is deemed an icon, and she kind of completely and utterly lives up to that, and sort of further. I think there's a real, you said it, but there's this real kind of curiosity, but also this generosity that you don't always see in people that have been bestowed these sort of titles of Hollywood legends. And she was so gracious, and I absolutely loved like working with her. And it's one of those things where you can't quite believe you're doing it. And also just, you know, her coming in, and you know, there's this sort of silence on the set the first day. It's like that. Angelica Houston is there, everyone. And she kind of manages to kind of break through that, and is vulnerable and nervous and all of the things that you forget. Like, of course, she's a human being. And it was yeah, I think we were really, really lucky. And she's funny, and yeah, we really. Yeah, and then she sort of randomly would just start talking about, you know, you would be sort of chatting away, and she would mention, you know, stuff like iconic stuff from, you know, she was talking that within the first like 15 minutes of meeting her, she was sort of talking about playing Morticia in the Addams Family, and you know, all of these stuff that, you know, I grew up watching, and you know, she anyway, it was a one of those experiences I think I'll never forget. I was yeah, I feel so lucky to have had that experience.
Final question. What kind of a role would you each like to play next?
Oh, that's such a hard question.
It is such a hard
Because
question.
it's like you never know. I always find that like with roles, like it's like you don't know. It's, you don't know what it is until you like read it or know, or it's like you can't decide. Like the universe decides for you or something. Or like often I feel like characters come and there's something that resonates, but it's kind of a mysterious thing, you know.
And you don't quite know why it resonates.
Yeah.
I think as well, this whole idea of like, I want to play someone that's this, like this, and this, and this, and it's like, yeah, but that all is dictated with the sort of circumstances surround it. Like, what's the story around it, and so, and who are the people that are. So it's such a, it feels like kind of an impossible question to answer in a weird way. But I think, I don't know, I feel like you feel the same way, but I think, you know, the biggest thing is finding interesting stories to tell, and interesting dynamics at play, and things that maybe challenge and make you think differently about human behavior. And I think that's the biggest draw. So whatever form that kind of takes is you can sign us up, both up for it.
I want to thank you both so much for chatting with me about this series. It's so good. I watched it twice just to see if I missed anything the first time around.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching it.
I'm so happy you liked it.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell in the top right-hand corner if you'd like to see more of my celebrity interviews. Got a lot more lined up, so make sure you don't miss out on them.